actually having tea for once. I actually do drink quite a lot of tea, but coffee sounds really good. There is a very good reason why it sounds a lot more echoey in here than it did last time, and why there's a huge mess everywhere. Well, it was already a huge mess. Last episode we finished my desk, and before I want to put the desk in this room, I have some more painting to do, which is something we've procrastinated for a very long time, and I am scared that I will ding up my desk if I put it in here right now, and then potentially scratching the desk before I even use it, which would be really sad in my opinion. I am, however, leaving the old desk in here because it's just way too big to disassemble and reassemble and store it in the meantime. It's just going to be a whole mess, so I'm leaving it in the middle of the room as almost a workbench, and truth be told, I don't know where half of this stuff is going to go. Wish me luck. Okay, I think we're gonna go handheld for this part because it's gonna be way too difficult to show it like consistently. I could do B-roll, I guess, but nah. I took out most of the stuff that's in this room, but it has given me a realization. I'm actually gonna sit down for this. Some parts of my room have already been stripped of the paint, which is really nice because I guess we have a better surface to paint on, but some parts haven't. And parts that haven't been painted yet or haven't been removed yet are in the back here, which in the end they won't be visible anyway, but it does give me a slight bit of worry that it might not look right all over, but honestly we'll see. I can't be bothered getting rid of it all because it's not going to be seen anyway, so I suppose we're just going to paint over it and hope it works, but first we've got to do some sanding. Let's create a mess. I couldn't really get rid of the paint on the floor trim that was still there, but for the most part it is all sanded to a nice even smoothness, I'd say, and now it's time to tape off the floor so I don't have too much cleanup to do afterwards and start painting, which is pretty daunting to me. I don't know why, I've painted before. It's actually freezing in here. I left the window open so it could aerate a bit and just make the paint dry properly, but I forgot how incredibly cold it is right now. So my hands are freezing. I hope the paint is fully dry. I gotta do the second coat right now because I want to get this office like usable again, because from the current state that it's in, it's just not gonna work. Before I apply the second coat of paint, I gotta sand it a bit more first. But this time I don't want to do it with the electric sander because that just destroys the current paint coat that's on there and makes me start over again basically. So I'm all going to do it by hand. I have one of those sanding blocks to which you could put a piece of sandpaper and have a flat surface to sand with, but I have no clue where I left it, so I'm just going to do it with a piece of plywood and wrap it around that. So let's go. I need some space to work in. Give me a second. Okay, now that the paint is all dried up in here, I can finally start doing some electrical work. I'm not a professional in anything electrics and I just know how to do this, but I don't want to be held accountable for any mistakes that I make or other people make. Because of what I do. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do though. Okay, the easiest way to show this is the door where you enter, and the only outlet we have is right here, which means every time I want power anywhere else in my room, I'm going to use to have a extender thingy, which means that if I enter this room I trip over this, which I don't want anymore. My desk, which isn't fully set up yet, is going to go over here, which means I'm gonna have to get power somewhere over there so that I can run my computer and run our storage system that we have here, or gonna have in a bit. Following that, my workbench is gonna go right here, which means I do want some power here. Doubt I'll use it much, but for the one or two times that I do want to use it, it's gonna be really useful to have a dedicated power source right here, which means I have to split the power that's coming from there down, across, and then right here. The moment of truth. I put everything in. Time to flip the breaker. Didn't push it all the way through. It works. It took me a lot longer than I had hoped for, and everything worked first time, luckily. Like, there's no flames anywhere. The breaker turned on immediately if I pushed it through all the way, and all the lighting works again. It's just, it all works. But it took me about 4 hours to get done. Now that all the outlets are in place, I can finally start, you know, getting stuff back in this room. Ironically, that would have been done last video, so go check that out if you haven't seen it already. With that all said, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.